The things I should have let go, but didn't. There wasn't a sudden goodbye. No door slammed shut, no final word echoing down a hallway. But I remember the weight, how it settled into my chest each time I thought of what I was still holding on to. A relationship that no longer felt like home, a dream that didn't fit who I was becoming, a version of myself that no longer made sense. I told myself I was being loyal, that maybe, with time, things would shift back into place. But deep down, I knew what I was carrying wasn't healing me. It was only keeping me from moving forward. Still, I clung to it, because letting go isn't just an act of release, it's an act of grief. And grief isn't something we're taught to sit with, it's something we avoid, delay, dress up as hope. I think that's why so many of us stay longer than we should, in relationships, in jobs, in mindsets. Not because we don't know better, but because the silence after letting go feels louder than the pain we've grown used to. But one day, the silence starts to feel like space, like breath, like room for something new. And maybe that's when we're ready. Not when it stops hurting, but when we finally understand this. Letting go isn't giving up, it's choosing to live. So if you're still holding on, not out of love, but out of fear, ask yourself gently, what would I have room for if I finally let this go? You deserve to find out. The practice of letting go. There wasn't a sudden moment of release, no fireworks signaling a new beginning, just a quiet evening, sitting alone, feeling the weight of what I had been holding on to slowly start to lighten. I realized that holding on tightly, whether to pain, regrets, or fear, was like clutching sand. The harder I squeezed, the more slipped away. Yet letting go felt uncertain, like stepping into a fog where I couldn't see what awaited. We live in a world that praises holding on, persistence, loyalty, endurance. But sometimes the greatest strength lies in the gentle art of release. Letting go isn't forgetting or giving up. It's making space for new growth, for peace, for healing. It's a daily practice, a patient breath taken again and again. It's choosing softness over struggle, acceptance over resistance. And slowly, over time, letting go becomes not an end, but a way of living. So if you're still gripping tightly, unsure how to begin, remember this: practice is possible. Begin with one small thing. Breathe, release, and trust the quiet power of letting go. When I treated the unimportant as important, there wasn't a dramatic awakening, no thunderclap or sudden insight, just a slow realization, piece by piece, as I looked back on all the moments I had wasted chasing things that didn't truly matter. I remember the endless hours spent worrying over small mistakes, the energy drained by comparisons, and the stress over things that felt urgent but weren't. It was like carrying a heavy backpack filled with stones that weren't even my own. We live in a world that bombards us with distractions, pressures, and endless to-do lists. It's easy to mistake noise for necessity, urgency for importance. But the truth is, not everything that demands your attention deserves your heart. True clarity comes when you learn to separate the essential from the trivial. When you let go of what doesn't nourish your soul, you find space to focus on what really matters: connection, growth, kindness, and peace. So if you find yourself caught up in worries that feel big but leave you empty, take a moment. Ask yourself, Is this truly important? And be brave enough to let go of what isn't, because real life unfolds when you free yourself from the weight of the unimportant. The courage to say, "This is enough." There wasn't a grand announcement or a crowd cheering, no sudden epiphany or celebratory moment. But I remember the quiet evening when, after years of pushing and striving, I finally whispered to myself, "This is enough." It wasn't about giving up or settling. It was about recognizing my limits, honoring my journey, and accepting that perfection isn't the goal. For so long, I chased more success, more approval, more validation, as if my worth depended on reaching an ever-moving finish line. But life taught me that sometimes courage isn't about charging forward. It's about pausing, taking a breath, and gently telling yourself that what you have and who you are right now is enough. That your effort, your progress, your presence matter, even if the world keeps spinning faster. Saying "this is enough" means choosing self-compassion over relentless ambition. It's a quiet rebellion against the pressure to always do more, be more, or have more. It's a brave acknowledgement that peace often begins when we stop chasing and start embracing. So if you find yourself exhausted from the endless pursuit, ask gently, "Is this enough for today?" And if your heart says yes, listen closely. That's courage speaking. One question to guide your next step. There wasn't a moment of clarity that came like a sudden thunderbolt. No dramatic crossroads or cinematic montage. But I remember the quiet evening I found myself alone, wrestling with the question that has lingered for years. Am I heading in the right direction? Life isn't a straight line, and decisions often feel like stepping into the fog. Each choice, big or small, carries weight, shaping the path ahead in ways unseen. Sometimes I've felt stuck, unsure whether to hold on or let go, to push forward or pause and reset. I've come to realize that life's course is less about making perfect choices and more about learning how to course correct with grace. To trust that recalibrating isn't failure, but a vital part of growth. The courage isn't just in the decision itself, but in facing the uncertainty that follows. That question, "Am I heading in the right direction?" is less about needing an answer and more about staying awake to my own journey. It invites reflection, patience, and the gentle reminder that life's rhythm is often a dance of trial, error, and rediscovery. So if you find yourself questioning your path today, take a breath. Maybe the question you're holding isn't a problem to solve, but a compass to guide you toward deeper understanding.